Thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you for inviting me to talk. I only met Winston like a month ago, and so to be here standing on this carpet is pretty fun. So the theme of today is old age. Winston touched on old being maybe not the way to describe it, but so much of words are good or bad because they're tied to what we think. So with that said, humor me, and I invite you to take a breath with me together. So if you'll just close your eyes and settle into your chair, and then find your feet on the ground flat, and maybe put your hands just above your knees, either palms up or palms down, whatever's comfortable. And then squint your eyes and relax your neck and lick your lips and just kind of feel every part of you. And then, together, let's breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale one more time. 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Open your eyes. Come back to where we are. So that particular breath work is resonance breathing or heart rate variability training. And so if we're talking about being old or how old you are, what's the plan? I invite you to consider whether or not that should even be in the equation with regards to a plan. So, heart rate variability is a way to measure the level of stress in your body, and it's the variation in your heart rate over time. The reason that's important is because your breath, your heart rate, is supposed to change over time. And so let's put aside the concept of age, the chronological number of years we've been alive, because everybody's lived a different life and everybody's experiencing life differently. And because of the things that you've been through, your body is in a certain condition. So rather than pay attention to our age, let's pay attention to how our body is, and let's respect our body and be connected to our body. And so with that, I'm going to tell a story of when I wasn't connected to my body and what happened as a result of it. So very quickly, I grew up first in North Vancouver, and then I lived in Kenya for 10 years. And at the age of 15, I came back. I lived in Richmond, went to high school, graduated from university, studied as an engineer, spent 5 years in manufacturing. And at the same time, I was also promoting nightclubs, and I was running a recreational sports company, so doing a lot of fun stuff. But 5 years later, I was still doing the same stuff. And I looked around, and people's lives were changing. And so I decided to put everything aside, and I focused on my engineering career, and took on a role as a program manager. Now, this was a promotion in the manufacturing space, and so I learned a lot very quickly, and I did very well. But 2 years later, I realized this is not what I want to be doing. And so I decided to leave that world and pursue life supporting teams, people, organizations with strategy and team building, because I wanted people to experience what they were going through, whether it was at work or at home, but in a positive, pleasant way. And I was going to use all of what I knew about health and wellness, which was always a part of my life, because I grew up around yoga and sports and music, and everything I'd learned through my career as an engineer and running nightclubs and a sports company, and I was going to apply all this to just help people grow. And right as I was about to take this journey, I have an iritis episode, which has happened before. It's related to an arthritic condition, which is tied to the chronic level of stress in your body. So this is about the 4th episode I've had, and usually you just take drops, and then it goes away. But this time, I wasn't listening to my body. And it got really bad. I lost vision in my eye. My head was pounding. I couldn't sleep. This went on for days, and it got so bad that I was prescribed corticosteroid pills, overprescribed, because everybody panicked, because I let it go too far. As a result of this, I then had GI issues, because I was prescribed 4 times the amount of someone going to the hospital with an ulcerative colitis attack. Way too much. I also contracted a pathogen in my foot that I didn't deal with. And so for 7 years, my body was breaking down. And I'm someone who usually works out. But at the peak of it, I was in manual therapy 10 times a month to be able to work out 6 days a week. And after every session, I would go and work out, and everything would just fall apart. The pain was intense, and then it wasn't. At certain points, I couldn't get out of bed. At certain points, I was scared to get out of bed and go to the bathroom. And this just was getting worse and worse and worse. And once I figured out what was going on, I dealt with the pathogens in my foot. And they were in the other foot. And that was the point where I realized how I put myself through so much unnecessarily. But everything happens for a reason, right? Because of what I had to go through, I had to learn so much about my body. I had to relearn how to walk, run, eat, lie down, sit. And when you're having to relearn the mechanics of stuff that you're supposed to have figured out when you're a baby, and that's supposed to be the end of it. You're supposed to just now be a functioning adult. Well, you go deep and deeper and deeper into your body, and there's a lot of, why am I going through this? Why didn't I just deal with it right away? But at the same time, fast forward to today. 2 years after dealing with the pathogens in my foot, I'm healthier than I was in my 20s, before all of this happened. And so let that kind of be an example of what can happen when you don't pay attention to your body, but also how much power your body has to recover from whatever you're going through. So, age, what's the plan? Getting old? Maybe none of that really matters. Maybe the only thing that matters is you in the situation that you're in right now, and what you choose to do right now. The speakers before me were amazing because both of them recognize the value in talking to your soul, connecting with your soul. What I'm also trying to do is help everybody understand that it's not just something etherical. There's amazing science behind connecting with your body. The reason that I had you breathe in for 4 and out for 6 is because we wanted a longer exhalation than the inhalation. And all that does is slow your heart rate down. When we're stressed, your heart rate will speed up. But also, your breathing gets shallow. This is a typical stress response. Now, what happens there is your heart rate variability drops. And so over time, your stress level continues to manifest in your body. Now, the arthritic condition I had was related to the chronic stress in my body. I'm not alone. This is something that everybody in the world is dealing with on some level. The connection between the mind and the body is a pathway out of that. And so, if you recognize how powerful your body is, then you can take control of whatever it is that's going on. I spent the last 10 years supporting teams, supporting people, supporting businesses. And even I didn't recognize how important this mind-body connection is. And the pain, the suffering, the frustrations of the past first 7 years, and then the recovery of the past 2, have given me a newfound lease on life, because I thought at some point that my body was going to fail me before I felt that it was fair. And the truth is, it was failing me because I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening to the messages that it was giving me, and I was just ignoring the things that were going wrong. And that's the theme, right? Going back to the theme of tonight, age, what is the plan? It doesn't matter what your age is. All that matters is if there's something that you need to take care of, if there's something that you need to spend time thinking about, talking to yourself about, working through, then that's the only thing that really matters. And so I'll draw on a quote from old Chinese philosophy. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So take that to heart, and if I leave you with one thought, just listen and take time to learn about how powerful your body is, because until you do, you have no idea what you're capable of. Thank you for your time.